got with it?
Hello there. And we are back with another episode of Nothing But Facts. Season 3, Episode 8. I'm Chloe Rogers, grandson of Steve Rogers, son of Aaron Rogers. And I'm here with the bestest co-host in the whole wide world, Mr. Trill Bill.
In the cut like a scary sight.
Okay,
Ready to talk, that's talk. You already know, bro. I'm just... I'm ready.
Chizo, take it away, man.
All right. We know what y'all here for. Introducing 15-year NBA veteran.
Bang.
One-time defensive first team. 3-time defensive second team. Built his legacy with the greatest show on court in Sacramento.
Bang.
With the Kings, he's second in steals with 717. 40th all-time with 1,555. And the current commentator for the Kings, one of the greatest, honestly. Mr. Doug Christie, how you doing today, sir?
What it do, fellas?
How's it going, man? How are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic. Listening to all those stats. I was robbed a couple times outside, but it's all good.
Definitely. I was like, what is going on? It should definitely be more. But we glad to have you. We were very glad to have you. We know you got a game tonight, 9 p.m. against the Bucks. We want to know your feelings about that. Are you guys ready for that? What do you think?
Man, that's going to be a tough one, you guys. To be honest with you, that Bucks team has beat up on us a little bit over the last few years. They shoot extremely high on the three-point percentage. Obviously, they got two-time MVP and Giannis. They've been banged up a little bit. I know Drew Holiday's out. DiVincenzo is a player actually that almost got traded to Sacramento that I'm really high on. I like the way that Dante plays. DJ Augustine is filling in. This will be a tough one. We have been without. I'm not sure yet what the final call is going to be, but we've been out without Harrison Barnes, without Rashawn Holmes. Glenn Robinson III was out the other night, but Marvin Bagley has been playing some incredible basketball, and Fox had banged his knee up, but prior to that, he was the Western Conference Player of the Week. So whenever you got Fox and Bags playing at a high level, you got a chance. And not to mention Tyrese and Buddy Love looking to knock down some trays. So this will be a tough one, man. It's a back-to-back, but that's why you play him. Go get it in.
Got to. Bagley had a nice, 26-11 last night. He looked very nice. He's getting in the rhythm.
Bro, he's that next piece for the Kings. He was the number 2 pick for a reason. We call him Baby Bosch for a reason. He's that. If he could do that, Bagley could easily do 20 and 10. Just get that foot right. Everything happens, get healthy, and the Kings could easily make noise in the next couple of years in the Western Conference.
Definitely.
Yeah, Beggs, you guys, he's an interesting player. Watching him coming out of the draft, and I know everybody hindsight and looking at Luka, who's an incredible player, but Marvin has an incredible upside. I think people are finally starting to see it because I think he's only played in 90 games, you guys. He's been in the league for 3 years because he's been so dinged up. So essentially he's just finishing up as a rookie, and just watching him on a night-to-night basis, the ability for him to learn the way that he is learning, because, right away as a young player, you want to force the issue, show everybody you can score, you got contracts and different things. And Marv was guilty of that, as most young players are. And now all of a sudden the game is coming to him. It looks like it's slowed down a little bit. He's going in and getting offensive rebounds, tipping it back out, getting other possessions. The 3 balls falling for him. He can do every single thing on the floor at 6'10" and athletic. He can grab a rebound, bring it up. He's tip dunking. He's dribble handoff, and he hit Harden with a Harden the other night, step back. Yeah, quite impressive, man. So 20 and 10 for Marvin. We may look back and that'd be a light night's work.
Okay.
And I feel like it goes out to show that not to give up on these young players, because a lot of these players are one and done. And if they don't do what Donovan Mitchell did his rookie year, they're calling him a bust. I still remember when they were calling Jason Tatum a bust after his second year, and look what happened last year, and look what he's doing this year. So I just see you shouldn't give up on these players. They're so talented that they're one and done for a reason. But the NBA is completely different from college. You got to give him 2 years, 3 years. Look at Julius Randle. It's his 7th year, and he's having an all-star year.
Yeah. So I do a radio show here in Sacramento on 1140 Sports KCK, and we talk about this because I've said this quite often, is coaching in the NBA, you guys, isn't coaching the way that it used to be. Coaching in the NBA now, in my opinion, is about player development. It's about communication. Players, you're not just telling them, get on the line, and it's a different time now, and you got to communicate with them. But you also have to have the ability to develop your players. And if you can't develop your players, you're not gonna last very long, because we're getting them at such a young age. We see the potential, we see the talent, but we don't see the finished product. And that's why you get a kid like Marvin, you get a kid like De'Aaron Fox, Ja Morant. You can go on and on, with the exception of Luka. But Luka was a professional overseas for like 5 or 6 years, or whatever it was, 4 or 5 years. So he had been playing against grown men, and the baptism comes quickly when that happens. So, and you're going to work on all the things you have to work on, or you're not going to be around too long. So today's NBA, you got to be able to develop your players.
Definitely. Piggybacking off of that, before we get into Facts or Crack, I wanted to ask, do you think the Kings have enough pieces right now through in-house growth to win a championship one day?
As the Kings are presently constructed, no, not to win a championship. But in this particular season, like right now they're in 11th. They started off 3-2 in their first 5. Then they go 2-8 in their next 10. Then they go 4-1 in the next 5, and most recently they're on a 6-game losing streak. So it's been the ebbs and flows of this team. But to be in 11th in the Western Conference, playing that way, if they could have just won a game or two, you guys, they could be in 8th or 9th place. So as far as the playoff goes, they got a good shot for that. As far as championship goes, there's a lot of work to be done. There's a culture that has to get developed, meaning that when you stand on the side of the court and you close your eyes and then you open them, and immediately when you see it, you go, oh, that's Sacramento Kings basketball. That has not been established yet. And that comes with the education of learning how to play basketball, because a lot of people can hoop, but playing basketball is different than hooping.
Definitely.
That's a
fact. That's crazy. I said that the other day. So let's get into Facts or Crack. Facts or Crack, you said the Kings, they're on a 6-game losing streak right now, but y'all are on a road trip. Got the Bucks tonight, can turn it around. Facts or Crack, will the Kings make the playoffs? Currently 11th.
Yeah, I'm gonna go facts here, you guys. I saw this on TNT the other night, and they were talking about it, and I think Shaq was the only one that said that they would make the playoffs. I think they will. I think that they unfortunately they had the most consistent starting lineup, like top 3 in the NBA, and then all of a sudden just a rash of injuries hit them. And that kind of started when this losing streak started. You missed De'Aaron, you missed Rashawn Holmes De'Aaron and Marvin Bagley in one game. Come back, you get De'Aaron back, you get Marvin back, then Rashawn Holmes and Harrison Barnes go out with Glenn Robinson III, devours your bench. So once they get healthy, I've seen them compete against the absolute best in the game. And now, I'm not going to say they're going to be number 8 seed, but I'm going to say they're in the top 11 for the play-in. Let me put it that way.
That's all. Hey, get in the play-in. Mm-hmm. Facts or Crack, Trill?
I got facts on that, bro. Okay. It's real easy to look at it. Like you just said, injuries have hit them crazily this year. And I think once they get all back on the court together consistently, it's a wrap. You've got a Rookie of the Year candidate, and Halliburton, as much as people like him, don't like him, he's efficient as hell. Like, there's no other way to put it. And I think just that you've got that, De'Aaron Fox, and like you said, Marvin Bagley, let's face it, he was getting trade talks possibly at the beginning of the year, and all of that has died down now. Just because of his play, he's gotten it together, 20-10. It's light work, like you said. So if he can keep that up, I don't see why they won't be in the playoffs. It would take a lot for something to happen where they don't make it.
I got facts piggybacking off everything you guys said. Harrison Barnes has been out. He's been having a career year. Holmes, he's a solid center. He's going to come back. De'Aaron Fox, quickest player on the court at all time. Best player from his draft class. I'm going to stand by that. I will always stand by that. Tyrese Halliburton, through his past 5 games, is shooting 47% from the field. He's probably the most efficient rookie. He's not putting up those LaMelo or Anthony Edwards numbers, but he is a team player, and he's honestly playing, as Cheese said numerous times, he's playing like he's a veteran already. So that's a big facts for me.
I like it. Next Facts or Crack. This one off the dome, I'm not going to lie. Got to ask you, Mr. Doug Christie. Does Rashawn Holmes have the best floater in the game with that push shot?
Yeah, I think so, man. Now, as far as motor go, I'd have to think about some people, but let me tell you, man, it's a blessing and an honor to watch Rashawn Holmes work every single night. But as far as that little push shot, you know, what's his name? I can't think of his name. Costa Kufis before him was here in Sacramento, and he had the nice little push shot. Rashawn gets here, man, and he just took that thing. Oh, it's like, I'm telling you guys, from the free throw line, the thing is money. I'm just like patent pending, and then somebody hit me on Twitter. It's like, take the pending joint off of it. It has been the patent has been given. So yeah, when you think about Rashawn, man, I mean, he fights bigger guys every single night when we are playing against bigger centers, competes against them, stretches the floor vertically with the lobs, stays in front of smaller players when they do switch out. I mean, his motor, you guys, is top shelf. And the fact that offensively he's come along with like that push shot, knocking down his free throws at a high clip, it's big-time stuff.
Definitely had to give Rashawn Holmes some love real quick. Next Facts or Crack. Owen Kings are the best team to never win a ring. Facts or crack?
Well, you guys know how I feel. I'm gonna go facts on that one. There's a few teams because oddly enough, Coach Adelman coached two of the teams that was probably on that list. That would be like the 91 Portland Trailblazers with Uncle Cliffy, rest in peace, and Duckworth, rest in peace, and Clyde and those guys. That was a pretty good one too. But yeah, I think our team, man. I mean, you think about it, you guys. We probably with Shaq and Kobe, we met two of the top 10 players ever in their alpha dog prime on the same team with arguably, if not the greatest, one of the greatest coaches that ever coached the game. And then you add in Big Shot Rob, and you add in all the extra pieces that they had. That's the only way that you compete against a team like that. You got to have, when you have dominance, and I'm talking about high-end dominance like that, you have to have a team, and that's what we were. I mean, the ability to pass, cut. Ultimately, what happened is you look at the Golden State Warriors, who they took our style and they won championships with it. So a lot of the times you see credit given to them. Even San Antonio Spurs, when they were the beautiful game of basketball, and they had never been registered with that while we were playing, but they were given that moniker. So the Kings don't get as much credit because we didn't close the deal and win a chip. Otherwise, I think a lot more respect would be put on our name. So I'm going to say facts there.
Definitely should give some more respect. Trill, how you feel?
Yeah, after looking up the research and everything, yeah, that team is facts. Like that 01 Kings team, they had it all. They had defense, you had shooting, you had bigs. You had it literally. You can go with Mike Bibby, you can go with Doug Christie, you can go with Peja, you can go with Chris Webber, you could go with Vlade. You could go with Bobby Jackson off the bench. All of those other people, and it's just like, damn, bruh. They, like you said, basically two of the top 10 players in their prime.
Bad timing.
It's a lot to try to beat that team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, looking at this article right here of this, they have the 01-02 Kings losing to that 90-91 Blazers team. But thinking about those Kings teams, I want to say the Suns because Steve Nash is one of my favorite players ever. But I'm going to go with this Kings team. People don't talk about Chris Webber enough. Yeah, everything happened in college, this, that, and the third. But he had to go up against Shaquille O'Neal. He had to go up against Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Dirk Nowitzki, and he was still giving you 22 and 14 a night. Mike Bibby. Mike Bibby's that's one of my favorite players ever. I love Mike Bibby. He is a straight hooper. Peja Stojakovic, that's one of the top 3 shooters in history, 100%. You got yourself 3-and-D player, Bobby Jackson. I believe Brad Miller was on that team. Vlade was on that team. I'm going to go facts with the Kings team. People don't give that team enough credit. Obviously, they don't give a lot of teams enough credit because they don't win, but it's just like bad timing. The Jazz with Michael, you guys with Kobe. It just happens.
And put Webb in the Hall of Fame.
Please.
100%.
Come on, quit playing.
100. I don't know why people disrespect them like that. Like, it makes no sense.
Come on, man. None. Zero. Nada.
They definitely tripping. We do this thing on Nothing But Facts where we have a quote every week. This quote this week is, "My team in the cut packing metal things more foreign shooters than the Sacramento Kings." So I just wanted to ask you real quick, who was your favorite shooter teammate?
My favorite shooter teammate, that would be Paige. Yeah, easily, man, because the ability to and if you guys think about it, like there's people, and I'm not throwing any salt or putting any, but there's a lot of folks that is shooting like way more threes, and the numbers don't really dictate just because the way that the game is played.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine if Paige was shooting? Because like for him, he's like every shot should be a three pretty much. So like 15 threes in a night, but running behind or in front of him, like after grabbing a rebound and just dropping him the ball at the logo and him pulling up, or just the communication that we had on the floor and understanding his game. And that's what I mean by learning how to play basketball. Part of learning how to play basketball is learning how to play for your teammates. So I've learned how he likes the ball, how Webb likes it, where Vlade likes it. And as a teammate, I play for that, and they play for that for me. And for Paige, it was man, that was so much fun, man. I can't even tell you guys.
That's definitely how you build the best teams, from the ground up.
Did you ever beat Paige in a 3-point shootout in practice?
Nah, man. Oddly enough, the Paige was really. I don't even know if Paige knew what he did, because like Coach would always call us in, and at the end of practice, or even but most times at the end, and we all come to the circle. But at our practice facility, we had like 2 courts, so we would be on one court when we came together. And every day, Paige would have a ball, and on to the other court, he would underhand it. And if he didn't make it, he hit the rim every day. It was the damnedest thing. Like, he just saw something different than everybody else. So we would go through our shooting drills, and he would say, "Doug, I'm not going to miss for 1 minute." There'd be like 1 minute on the clock, right? And he'd go elbow to elbow or top of the key. And I'd go, you guys, and I'd miss like 1 or 2. And I'm thinking, damn, like I missed 1 or 2. He wouldn't miss, like for real, not miss. And I used to just be like, damn. And then he would smile and laugh about it in that crazy accent.
That's crazy. Career 40% from 3 on only 5 threes, like you said. Not that many threes.
That's crazy. I'm like, yeah, in today's game, that's equivalent to easily 10 threes a game. And it's like, yeah, if you're like, we allow Steph Curry, we allow James Harden, numerous players to shoot double digits amount of threes a game. Don't even question it. If he was allowed to do that, it's a wrap.
Numbers will be crazy.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, even to be honest with you, for myself, I'd probably be shooting about 8 to 10 threes a game. Bobby would be shooting probably 10 to 12 threes a game. Mike the same way. Webb would be shooting threes. Vlade dreams every night that he could.
He would have
shoot
started
threes.
shooting threes
so
too.
He always,
everybody shoots
yeah,
threes now.
absolutely.
Everybody.
Come on, man.
You want a 3?
So that was the part of that our team, when people asked me about that was a part of our team that I thought crossed over. There are a lot of other teams when they talk about eras and different stuff, because we had the regular team that we had 2 big guys, as you guys mentioned, but our big guys had the ability to dribble, pass, and shoot, and everybody on our team could dribble, pass, and shoot, which plays in today's game of basketball. So I think that our style was the passing and cutting and moving. And crazy enough, we led the team in like pace or led the league in pace to play, you guys, at like 96 points or 96.
And 96.
And that's like last in the league.
Yeah,
now we were first.
last.
It felt like we were moving fast.
He gave us shade
because when you think about it, there's the superstars in the NBA are probably playing like, I think Giannis plays like 30 minutes, but he's doing 28, 13, and 6. So it's like, how does that even make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You got Montrezl Harrell giving you like 15 points on 12 minutes a game. That's how fast. It's insane how it is now.
More shots, more rebounds, more assists,
more everything. They're like, it's like 2 possessions. They're like in a minute. Each team might be getting like 3 possessions. That's how quick it's going now.
Crazy. Speaking of numbers, next Facts or Crack. We were talking about Marvin Bagley. Said he could be a 2010 guy. Will he be a 25 and 10 guy? Facts or Crack?
Ooh, that's a good one. The only reason I say it, so first let me put it this way: facts that he's got that in him, no problem.
Definitely.
That I think that he can do that. Where I think that he might fall short is you can get 25-10 and be on a losing team, or you could get 20-10 and you could be in the playoffs. And then my question to you is, my brother, what you want to do? So that's where I run into the issue. Now he could also be 25-10 and they could win, but it has to equate to winning basketball, and that would be my only question about it, because I really, you guys, I don't think 20-10 is going to be difficult for him. The way that I'm watching him improve every aspect of the game, he hasn't even. He's like I said this on air the other day. He's a galloper. So what I mean by that is, like, when he's running, he's beautiful, big strides, right? And he does the same thing on defense. The problem on defense is you can't do that because galloping means your head's coming up and down, right? Sure. You need to do more short, choppy, crab-like steps, and your head is just at one level. Well, the same thing is on offense. Like, if he's coming full speed and he learns how to stutter step on somebody between the legs and change direction, oh my Lord. And yeah, I don't see 20-10 being a problem. I don't see 25-10 being a problem. That just has to equate to winning basketball. That's all.
Definitely could see that. Like you said, the game's slowing down for him. He had that tip to himself last night and passed to Hassan Whiteside down low. It was nice.
I got facts as well. I think it all depends on where is he in the offense. If he's the second option behind De'Aaron Fox, then yeah, I think so. But if they're still running it where it's De'Aaron Fox and then De'Aaron Fox just distributes the ball and we get our shots where we get it, then it's not that he won't get there, but I don't think with his style of play that 20-10 is going to be something every night. That's all. But it's like he said, it's possible. We all know it's there. He shows the flashes of it. But in the offense that they run, that's my only question.
I don't doubt it like you guys said, but I'm going to go with Crack because I feel like, and this might be a hot take, what the Kings should do is have Fox and Halliburton be the first and second option. I personally think they could be that next great backcourt in the Western Conference, with Bagley being that third option. Like you guys said, 20-10 is easy, and I feel like that would be best to winning basketball because Halliburton, what he's going to become, and then De'Aaron Fox is eventually going to average 25 one day in this league. I personally feel like. So it's like the sky's the limit for Bagley and that whole team.
I definitely feel like that. Next facts or crack? You're just talking about Halliburton. Is he going to win Rookie of the Year?
That's a good one, too. I got him as Rookie of the Year if the Kings are able to make it into the playoffs. And I'm not taking anything away from LaMelo Ball because I love what I see out of him, man. The kid he can play a high level IQ and understands the game. But one thing that I've seen in Halliburton is he plays winning basketball, and that's not that LaMelo doesn't. I'm just saying what I see on a night-to-night basis. This kid is, I believe, right up there in points in the fourth quarter. And I'm talking as far as everybody. He's like leading percentage, especially in three-pointers. His ability to just want the moment, to understand winning plays, and that's not just scoring. He's also shooting the gap, getting his hands on balls, closing out, and getting his hand in the passing lane at the same time. Where I think we run into a problem is he plays on the West Coast. Like a lot of East Coast people, they're not staying up tonight and watching. Yep. They're gonna go to bed, and that I think plays against him in certain ways. But he's got my vote. I'm like, whoa, my man got game.
Yeah, he definitely helps with winning basketball. I think that's why Fox is in the tops in clutch points this year. Facts or crack? True.
I got crack, sadly, and it's just because I think LaMelo and Anthony Edwards are just going to get those many more minutes, and their stats are going to be, it wouldn't even be better, just inflated a little more. It's going to look better on paper, and percentages, we know they won't be better because, let's face it, LaMelo and Anthony Edwards, they're basically shooting 20 times a night.
Past 5 games, like I said, Halliburton 47%, LaMelo 42%, and Anthony Edwards 37%.
Exactly. So it's like they're never going to be him, but I totally think that either he gets more minutes, he gets the numbers up. I don't know what it is. And like you said, it's the fact that playing on the West Coast, you got a lot of these people who don't either watch the games, don't care about the games, don't stay up. So I just think personally, the narrative is going to be LaMelo or Anthony Edwards.
That's why I'm saying crack as well, just because of that. Before the draft even entered, they were talking about LaMelo Ball Rookie of the Year. They're just going with that hype, and he's producing, and he's producing so well that I think he lit a fire under his big brother Lonzo, because Lonzo's been going crazy. He don't want to go to those dinners looking at little brother like, damn, you doing that? If you go look at Lonzo Ball is going crazy. We have a fantasy league. I think he's in the past 5 games, like 40, 50. He just dropped 61 fantasy points another night with like 20 and 12 assists. He's going crazy because of LaMelo. And I just think because of the hype, Anthony Edwards, they're going to keep talking about that dunk for the next 25 years, what he did to that guy. I'm not even going to say his name because I don't want to embarrass him anymore. But yeah, that's just the hype. If they give it a Halliburton, I wouldn't be surprised. He's the most efficient rookie. He's playing winning basketball, as you said, but I just don't see it because of LaMelo.
Yeah, you guys, the fact that he's playing in Sacramento, it's almost like the Dame in Portland thing. Like the fact that Dame Lillard isn't a starter on the All-Star team is just, I don't even understand it. That's not saying Luka's not an All-Star, but listen, Dame, I'm talking about for a basketball head, understand me too, because like, dude is like, he's a monster, man. I'm telling you guys.
His center's out, his shooting guard's out. He's going crazy. I have a future bet for him in MVP before the season started, and he's living up to it. That stock keeps rising.
No doubt.
And Portland is 5th in the West, too. Definitely should have been a starter.
Shout out to Carmelo Anthony for carrying some of that load, too. That's my guy.
Before we get into our next topics, do we got any questions for our extremely special guest?
I had one last Facts or Crack just off the dome. Are we going to have multiple, and I guess it's almost a certain at this point, but I guess the number would be 3 to 5 30-point plus scores this year?
What we got right now? 2?
We have...
yeah, we got 2 right now.
Oh, you mean average, or you mean guys just getting 30?
Oh, no, average 30 for the year.
Okay.
We have 3 at the moment, yeah.
Okay, give him to
Bradley
me.
Beal, Joel Embiid, and Damian Lillard. And the crazy thing is, there's about 5 more after that are at 20. No, you got Steph Curry at 29.9, so you could pretty much give him 30. Luka has 29.1. Levine has 28.9. Giannis has 28. Jokic is 27.
Sheesh.
Okay, I think that, so if we got 3 now, you guys, I think we're going to get 2. I think Damian Lillard's going to get it, and I think Steph is going to get it, because those guys, I mean, when you go for 50, that brings your number up like a mug. So, yeah, which is nuts, man. I mean, the whole Jordan 8-8-8-8, that, and that's how he's getting to 32. It's like nuts. But now, watching what's happening out here, dudes is putting up numbers. So I could see them being 5 at the end of the year.
Wow. The last time there was multiple was 1988. It was Jordan and Wilkins. Jordan had 35, Wilkins had 30, and the most is 5 in 1962. Oscar Robertson had 30.8, Jerry West had 30.8, Bob Pettit had 31.1, Walt Bellamy had 31.6, and Wilt Chamberlain had 50.4.
Oh yeah, just Wilt there, throw in 50. What are you doing? Wilt's just like, yeah, this is just fun. Like, you guys can't cover me at all. He had the best job ever. Like, bro, there's no stress at all. I'm gonna get on the court and nothing's gonna happen to me. Bro. Scoring.
Yeah. Any questions we got before we get into our next topic for Mr. Christie?
Oh no, we hop into it.
All right. Next topic. Rank them. We got a couple of different So we're gonna start with young cores. We got the Bulls, the Grizzlies, the Pelicans, and the Hawks. 1 through 4, we want you to rank them. How you feel about those young cores, and which one would you take?
Okay, so when we say young cores, what are we considering? Because like when I look, we just played the Bulls last night, so let me see here. The Bulls got
Kobe White, Lauri Markkanen was hurt. Wendell Carter Jr.
Levine,
and Patrick Williams.
Yeah, I forgot about
Patrick Williams. Yeah. Okay, and then
with the Grizzlies,
we got Morant,
Jaren Jackson Jr.
He's
Justice Winslow just played his first game.
Dylan Brooks,
Brandon Clark,
Desmond Bane was their rookie. With the Pelicans, we got Zion Williamson, obviously.
Man-child.
Brandon Ingram.
Zion,
Jackson Hayes.
Lonzo.
Lonzo. He's an asset, even if he doesn't stay.
Shea's cousin. Nikhil Alexander Walker. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And the Hawks, we got John Collins, Trae Young,
Cam Reddish,
DeAndre Hunter.
Kevin Huerter.
So 1 through 4. Which one of those are you riding with?
Man, that's a tough question. So I'm gonna go with starting at 4.
Okay.
Give me Atlanta. I'm gonna go with Atlanta at 4. I'm gonna go with the Bulls at 3. And I can't really decide between these two here, the Grizzlies and the Pelicans. You guys are talking about trading Lonzo and stuff. That ain't right. Give me the Pels and then the Grizz.
Pels 2, Grizz 1?
No, Pels. Pels 1, Grizz 2.
Okay. So
Bulls
does that mean
3 and ATL 4.
So does that mean if you could have any one player out of those groups, would it be Zion Williamson?
That's kind of actually was the breaker. The only problem with Zion, because he could be a generational player, is going to be his health. That's really it.
The only
like
thing
this
that could
is the
stop
first year that we're seeing. Yeah, that could only stop anybody. But the fact that it's been a question for him prior to that, like the biggest thing, like when I see him, you think of like Blake Griffin, for instance, who had that type of explosiveness, and all of a sudden it's gone, and he's just shooting 3-pointers, and he can obviously shoot better than Zion. Zion has that hop in his step to get going, and that worries me. But if we're going to take that out of the equation, he's one of the players that you definitely start a franchise with, because a lot of these other players, not that they're necessarily similar, but nobody has that. No one's 285, 6'6", and finishes and knocks people. I mean, I watched him knock Rashawn Holmes like Rashawn wasn't even there. I was like, good Lord, man.
I think he's bullied every single person.
Yeah, it reminds me in many ways of Shaq, man. When I would go down to reach on Shaq, I'd use my fist. I wouldn't reach with my hand, 'cause he had them paws on that thing, and it was a wrap. So yeah, that's a pretty dynamic little core that they got down there with the Pelicans. The Grizzlies not far behind. John Moran is special. Like for instance, you guys, you might say the Grizz, number one, had Jaren Jackson been around and been developing, because he's a bit of a monster. Dylan Brooks has got some things. Brandon Clark, Zach LaVine is probably out of all these guys, he's right there at the top of my list, being a Washingtonian first and foremost. But let me tell you, Zach LaVine is a bad boy, man. But yeah, that's how I'd rank him most likely.
And it's kind of lit with players like Zach LaVine. He came into the league just like being known as a dunker, and now he's just dropping 30 points like it's nothing.
You
no
saw
problem.
it firsthand last night.
Like he's just it's so cool when players like come in and they're known for one thing, and then they elevate their game and just do a bunch of things, and you're like, damn, look at you now. Good job. Proud of you.
I got it real similarly, but different. So at the bottom, I got Chicago, just because I think that the shooting in Atlanta is that much better around Trae. Kevin Huerter, Cam, DeAndre Hunter when he's healthy. Even John Collins can hit threes as well. So it's like, look, I think that young core, even if they don't move him, I think that's a better look than Chicago. Mm-hmm. But looking at those top two, I'd flip it easily. I just think the Grizzlies have more pieces overall, and that's going to lead to more depth. And you got more bigs. We know Ja. He's your guard. Dylan Brooks, shoot. Everyone's got their role. I feel like it's just expand, get better on your game. In New Orleans, I feel like you're still trying to learn what works best. Mm-hmm. Is B.I. the first option, or is Zion the first option? Because we understand Zion can do what he does. He's, past 4 games over 30.
I think he's averaging 25, but I think with those two guys, I think at this point it's just like a 1A, 1B thing.
Exactly.
Because they could both do 25 a night. I think B.I. is doing like 23, 24, and Zion's doing 25 and 7, and he doesn't even need to take a jump shot doing it. I think they're both dominant in their own ways. You got one guy on the inside that's going to drop you 25, and you got baby Kevin Durant on the outside that's going to drop you 25.
Definitely. We didn't shout out Xavier Tillman on the Grizzlies either. That's another rookie. That's a big mess with that.
No doubt.
What's your ranking?
Yeah, I like him.
I have the Bulls at 4 just because of what you see with Wendell Carter and Laurie. They always get hurt one way or another. They just end up getting hurt. And it's like, bro, like you guys have so much talent. It's just like I feel bad for them. Number 3, the Hawks. They can't defend a park car at all. It doesn't matter how special Trey is. It does not matter if he's baby Steph. They just can't defend anything. Number 2, I'm going to go with the Pelicans just because after Brandon Ingram and Zion, there's just like you got Lonzo and stuff. But it's just like, what else is there? Jackson Hayes hasn't been really doing much. Eric Bledsoe is already 28, 29 years old. And then the Grizzlies, John Morant, that's Derrick Rose and Russell Westbrook combined. Then you got Bane. Then you got Dylan Brooks. Triple J is crazy. Valanciunas is even there, and he's going to be around for some time.
JJJ is a unicorn. I think he has like a crazy high ceiling, honestly. So my list is the same as yours, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Next category is duos. So here are the 4 duos. Luka and KP. Tatum and Brown. Simmons and Embiid, Jokic and Murray. Rank them 1 through 4.
Man, this one, you guys, I was like, I don't even know. Yeah, because when you look at it, you got multiple guys that. So Luka coming into the season was in the MVP conversation. The numbers, the wins, it's not there. The numbers are there. I get it. KP is constantly hurt, so that's gonna hurt that duo in and of itself. Simmons and Embiid. Embiid is an MVP candidate, and Simmons, regardless what you want to say about him, with his shot, he brings so much more to the table. The dude is Jokic, man. That's a bad boy right there, man. Let me tell you guys, this dude, I don't think people they really recognize Jokic. He's a terrorizer.
Did he put 50
Murray,
on y'all?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he took a L, but he dropped off that 5-piece. It was from every single angle, man. Let me tell you, and just the nuances of his game, man. The head fakes and the passing, and that is just. So the problem there is Murray's consistency. Like Murray did he just go for 50?
He did. No free throws.
2 nights ago or something. Yeah.
He dropped 50
with no free throws. First player in the history.
No free throws, crazy.
So, if he was more consistent, I would have him up. I really like Tatum and Brown, you guys. This is it. Like, there's not an MVP in there, but both of those dudes is super nasty. So I'm gonna go for Luka and KP. I'm gonna say, give me Simmons and Simmons and Embiid, Jokic and Murray, and I'm going to shock you guys, and I'm going to go Tatum and Brown, number 1.
You're not shocking me at all, sir. I got Tatum and Brown at number 1. 100%.
Really?
I have him at 1.
Oh, man, you guys surprised me.
Besides De'Aaron Fox, I have Donovan Mitchell surprised me. I think he surprised a lot of people from that draft class. I said it was Tatum and Fox. I think Tatum is that good. I always say Tatum's game, it's just smooth. There's no glitches or anything, no kinks in his game. He's just so smooth with the way he dribbles. It's like a natural. Jaylen Brown, people comparing him with Tracy McGrady, all this top 5 two-way player in the game. So yeah, I got them as number 1. Number 2, if we're going off nobody's getting hurt, are we going off nobody's getting hurt? Or we're going off what are they? If we're going
real
off,
life. It's real life.
Okay, real life. All right, so I got Jokic and Murray number 2. Then I got Luka and KP because I think he's that special, Luka, to carry them. And then Embiid and Simmons. And it's no disrespect to them because Embiid is best center in my opinion. But
is that more because of the fit?
Yeah. Yeah, Tatum and Brown. Oh my! It's like they literally have. It's like Boston got so lucky. They have a gold mine. These are going to be the next 2 best two-way players in basketball probably for the next decade.
What did the prophet say? Win rings?
Yes. Shout out to them. Trill?
It's a little different. So starting at the bottom, number 4, and it's just what we've seen injury history. Luka and KP.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm noticing that he's the antagonist in the group because he always start off with it's gonna be a little different.
Exactly.
He is. He definitely
I
is.
like it. I like it.
So
I like it.
Luka and KP at the bottom. Then I got Simmons and Embiid coming in at 3 just because Ben Simmons is great. Like you said, everything else he brings to the game is amazing. But I'll go to my grave saying this. I need my point guard to be able to hit a jump shot.
I think Trill and I have like beef with Simmons, and he doesn't even know us. But we're just like, bro, if you just had a jump shot, you're a top 10 player.
Easily, hands down.
I think you might be a top 5 player if you had a jump shot and you were shooting 35% from 3.
Hey, and he plays defense. How about that?
That's why it's like he would be like, yo,
1 through 5.
It's insane. It's like, yo, what's stopping you? Like, shooting the basketball is fun.
But he has a sweeping hook shot too. So it's like,
does
he need
great.
a shot?
If Ben Simmons had a jump shot, the Sixers would have probably already been in the finals in the past 2 years. If he had a jump shot, like a jump shot as in like he's a top 10 player.
That's a lot.
They would have been in the finals.
That's a lot.
We can't say I can't go back in time. Maybe in another life we'll see, but that's how I'm feeling.
Finishing off my list, coming in at 2, Tatum and Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just because the leap that Jaylen Brown has taken from being that number 3 pick in that draft, I didn't think he would ever get to this. But
he was an athlete.
Yeah, he was just really an athlete. He could jump out the gym. He could play defense. It was nice. But the fact that he's gotten his scoring up, you can see he's in the gym every single offseason with either CP, Jason Tatum. It don't matter. The boy's putting in work.
On both ends.
Exactly, on both ends. So you got to give him his credit. But I'm sorry. The best big man in basketball happens to also be the best passer in basketball, I think. And he's the best passing big man of all time. So you wrap all of that into one, and you got a solid guard who knows how to go off for 50 in spurts like that with Jamal Murray. I'm taking that every day. Every single day.
I can't argue with you. He's a bad boy, man. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you. He is. Woo.
Definitely one of my favorite players in the league.
I feel like Jokic frustrates so many players he guards because he be hitting these shots.
He can do everything.
Just like, how'd you hit that? Like, how do you know the backboard so well? It's like you're Tony Parker, how he used to like just hit parts of the backboard.
Hey,
it's just like, how?
You know what? I'm gonna tell you guys. When I first got back to Sacramento, and I was looking at Ben. What's Ben's last? Ben McLemore, and the people around here, they were telling me that he has a problem with catching the basketball. Well, when I work with athletes and training, part of it is like trying to get into their mind and figure it out. I said, well, to fix that, you just need to get in like different size balls and different weights of balls, golf balls, tennis balls, different things, and you need to throw it at them so to soften them hands up so he learns how to catch it because he can't just lock in on something. And when I watch Jokic, because I was saying about his passing, and one day, I don't think nobody noticed this, but one day he was walking into the gym, and you know how they had a camera on you when you're walking into the gym, and he had like a racquetball in his hand, and he was just throwing it against the wall as he was walking and catching it right hand, and he was doing it left-handed, and I was just laughing. I was like, that's it right there.
He's a magician for sure. After you said that, yeah.
That's every angle that he's dealing with right there. So he's walking around and getting it at the same time. Get it like you live.
Got to. Next category, defenders, all time. I got 4 for you. Tony Allen.
Okay.
Rajah Bell.
Okay.
Gary Payton. And Doug Christie. We're going to start with Trill on this one.
Okay. Oh, I'm been ready.
Okay,
yeah.
All right, so coming in at the bottom, I got Rajah Bell.
Okay,
no disrespect to him. Took that cheap shot on Kobe. We still not cool about that. That's just how I feel about that.
I read that.
He's a great defender, but
that's cool. That's fine. You can do that.
And when I look at the other people on that list, he's not in the same conversation
that's exactly what
with Tony Allen or Gary Payton or Doug Christie. That's just how I feel about it. So that's why Rajah Bell comes in at 4. Number 3, I got Tony Allen just because he was so limited on one side of the ball. He's one of the greatest defenders. He could take Kobe. He can take Paul Pierce. He could take them all the wings, all the guards, everybody.
Yep.
But he was just so one-sided. And when I look at the top 2 and those other 2 names, Doug Christie was a two-way player.
Mm-hmm.
Gary Payton was a two-way player.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
So I've got Doug Christie coming in at number 2, but there's only one man named the Glove on this list. So I got to go with Gary Payton.
There's a reason you get called the Glove. I got the same exact list. It's like you get called the Glove for a reason. And like you said, two-way players, like, yeah, the defense is great, but, yo, you're a liability. I can't pass you the basketball because you're not going to hit a jump shot. I'm sorry. Like, no. I'd rather take Gary Payton, who could facilitate, and I'd rather take Doug Christie, who's going to hit you the three-pointer.
He got the weather.
Come on.
Your ranking, sir. How you got it, 1 through 4?
Oh, that me?
Yes, on you, sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my bad. I didn't understand what you were saying. Give me Raja at 4. And you know what? I kind of went here with the number. He was only a 2-time defensive player. I put Raja at 4. I actually put myself at number 3, and I only did this because Kobe said what he said about Tony. I don't know if he was dissing, but I like Tony's game. And he was a 6-time, so I give him some credit. And then of course, when you guys talk about Gary Payton, man, I've watched Gary Payton ever since he was at Oregon State. We was in the same. I was a freshman. We was in the same tournament. He was dragging people on defense at Oregon State as well. The Glove he's one of a kind, and he tell you about it at the same time. Doesn't like it, man.
Tell everybody about it. Surprised you had yourself 3. I thought you were gonna have yourself 1 or 2. I'm not gonna lie.
Nah, man. I was gonna have myself 2, but I know how people are. They like you company stuff. I don't really like to put myself in those type. I let other people kind of do that. So I listen to you guys. I got you, and I don't disagree with you actually. But you asked me for my list, so I go with that.
Out of respect.
What do you like doing more? You like when you used to play? You like playing defense, or you like being on the offensive side and shooting them threes?
It's strange, you guys, because growing up, like if you ask Jamal and all those guys, like from being from Seattle and going to Rainier Beach High School and all that, I was never known as a defender. I was always a scorer, playmaker. But once I got to the NBA and then I got traded from the Lakers to the Knicks, I went into Coach Riley's office on the first day, and he was just like, look, you ain't going to play. You got to find something that's going to keep you in the league, blah, blah, blah. And from that point on, when I got in there with Oak and Mace and Patrick and Derek Harper and John Starks and, just so many different dudes who knew how to play defense, I learned so much. And it's something that it kind of started coming easy to me because I saw how I could use my athleticism in the past. Like I use Marvin as an example. Like Marvin would get beat off the dribble, but then he'll just track you down and just beat it up, bang, because he could do that. Instead of doing the easy work on the front end and learning how to move and catch a move and keep your guy in front of you, then you ain't even got to do all that. So once I started learning how to play defense, it was something. And then by the time I got to Toronto, I was able to do both. So I was really a two-way player in Toronto. Me and Damon Stoudemire, I usually stick the best dude, but I was still getting numbers. And then by the time I got to the Kings, I saw how I could fit in that made us the best version of ourselves. On some nights I get 30, on some nights I get 20, and some nights like I'm sticking Kobe, I get 12. But because the load was different, if I'm sticking somebody who I don't got to waste as much energy on, I'm feeling a little bit more flighty on the other end of the court where I go into my bag. So it was a learn thing for me, you guys, to be honest. It wasn't something that I was just like, I love playing defense. I love, and what I learned after basketball is I love basketball. I love both ends of the court. I study defense, but I also train and study offense. That's the thing. It's almost like yin and yang. Like if you're good at one thing, you should have the ability to understand and figure out how to be good at the other thing, because all it is doing the same thing backwards. So you just have to figure that part of it out.
Got to be multifaceted, definitely. 17th overall pick in the 1992 draft by the Supersonics. Never played for the Supersonics, played for the Lakers. Did you have a favorite vet, since you were talking about learning so much?
Yeah, I had a lot of really good vets, you guys. Right off the bat, there was James Worthy, who was fantastic. I got to the Knicks, and I mentioned Oak. Derek Harper was fantastic for me. But my time with the Knicks, I would say that I learned the most from Herb Williams. And if you know old school at all, Herb was with the Pacers. He coached the Knicks, played for the Knicks on the end of the bench. And he taught me so much, man, sitting on the end of that bench, you guys. He would just talk the whole game. We would just sit there and talk basketball. Look at John. Look how he's guarding this guy. Watch how he shoots the gap. Look where he's heads on a swivel. Watch this, watch that. And then, pairing that with Derek Harper and Greg Anthony in practice and being able to then take that same stuff and learn it. I mean, Herb taught me. He taught me a lot, man. Derek Harper, he taught me a lot too. But D was playing. Me and Herb was chilling. So I learned the most. I learned the most from him, man. It was just a lot of knowledge, man. And that's why I love teaching and passing that stuff on, because it's invaluable. I would say probably though the most impactful for me, you guys, was Isaiah Thomas. When I got to Toronto, Isaiah was, I need to write something on it, to be honest with you guys, because I can't tell you guys enough how much credit Isaiah don't get about where the game is today. The things that he was trying to do in Toronto is a lot of the stuff that we see today that now he doesn't even get credit for and people don't recognize. Just a vast amount of information and straight. He was so straight with me. He called me up to his apartment and his condo, and we would sit and talk basketball, just everything. And just as a mentor, as somebody, just as a black man looking out and talking to me and understanding where I was at in my life and the things that I was trying to do and the things he had been through. He shot me the fair one like nobody ever before, and I always appreciate Zeke for that.
Shooting it straight. That's why I appreciate you being on there. Not too many two black commentators on the broadcast.
That's dope. I mean,
Okay.
I've heard everyone speak about Isaiah Thomas in so many different lights. You hear people always try to, I guess you can call them the Jordan bandwagoners, and they have that view where he was always a problem. He was the antagonist.
Yeah.
And they always talk about him in certain lights, but it's nice to know that he wasn't like that. And when I hear other people talk about him, I guess not in such big lights, it lets you know that IT wasn't the issue that everyone painted him to be.
We also,
you guys, go ahead.
No, go ahead. That's my fault.
No, I was going to say, he was a problem because he was a competitor.
Mm-hmm.
He was. You ain't supposed to like the people that you're going up against, you guys. That's a thing, man. And I think from the very first day I got there, I remember I played one-on-one with Isaiah. My wife was watching. We went out to the gym and playing Isaiah, and she hadn't met him yet. So we're playing, and I knocked him down, and we kept playing. And we got in the car, and my wife's like, "Baby, was that your general manager?" And I was like, "Yeah." She said, "Well, you knocked him down." And I was like, "Well, I expected that. That's exactly what he wanted to see from me. Was you not?" So that, I think, is part of it. His competitive nature, man, is Jordan-esque. It's top shelf. It doesn't get any better. So that probably rubs people the wrong way. And for me, that's okay.
Got to leave it all between the lines. Got to. Speaking of your playing days, you're also a commentator now, like we said. Do you have a favorite arena to play in, and do you have a favorite arena to commentate in?
That's a good one. So the favorite, wow, you say that because I didn't know the question. The favorite arena to play in to call is the same one. That's really weird. My favorite arena to play in was Arco Arena. There was, even as a competitor, you guys, going in there, it was always packed. The fans was on top of you, and then to play for them, it was crazy. That was nuts. But there ain't nothing like running out of Madison Square Garden and Redman time for some action. It's nothing like it. They turn it up, and it's just nuts, man. And also calling games, that's one of the last venues, you guys, where we're sitting on the court. Like I'm sitting right there, and that for me, as somebody who's watching the game, you go to different arenas like in Philly, they kind of got you up on the second level, and so for calling television, it's difficult because like a couple times I'm like, did that ball go in? And you guys on TV got kind of a better view of it than me. But at Madison Square Garden, man, you got Walt Frazier like right next to me to the left. I'm like, damn, that's Walt. So man, it ain't nothing like the Garden, man. The Garden was spectacular to both play in and to call. And if you guys never been to Arco Arena when we had that thing turned up, it felt like it was about to collapse on us at the same time, but it was a lot of fun.
That's dope. Any questions you guys have?
I mean, just thinking about it, give me your top 5 hardest matchups or your top 5 hardest people to guard that you faced throughout your career.
Ooh, that's another good one. My very first year, I don't know that I'm gonna have him in my top 5, but I just remember him torturing the hell out of me. So I gotta put Sean Elliott in there as a rookie. Sean Elliott beat the hell out of me when I was with the Knicks. Or no, it wasn't a rookie. It was like in my third year. It was preseason with the Knicks, and I just had the damnedest time of guarding him. But I was just learning the nuances of that. So let's see. First, I got to just name some people because then I can put them in order. So Michael Jordan is at the top of the list, you guys. Like, this man, let me tell you, bro. First of all, he's competing on both ends of the floor. But also, like, I played against a lot of players, and a lot of them would use the referees and, like holler and cry to the ref. Like, he never did that. Like, we were underneath the hoop, and it's like elbow, bang, hit. And in the vibe and the body language said, this how we getting down tonight? Okay, cool. And I was like, oh, damn. I mean, just ultimate respect. And then after the game, my daughter's like, Dad, can you go get an autograph? And I'm thinking, I don't know, girl. we was just getting it on. Yeah. But when I went and did it, he was like totally cool, you guys. He was like, DC, watch out, you guys. Because he had like a gang of people, all the reporters. And he moved them out the way, signed it for my baby. I was like, wow, this is like love. You know what I'm saying? And you just competed like that. I put Mike in the rare air. Kobe obviously was he was a monster because his ability to so I give it like when I first got to Sacramento, we was ascending, right, and that was the first time like I'm really guarding him. I had saw him in Toronto, but he's really ascending, and I think that was like the first year. I think they won the championship. So over that next 2-year span, like I was contesting his shot, and like I'm big as him, move just as good, athletic. So when he's going up for a shot, I'm on top of it, hands in his face, like blinded him like some glasses right on top of it. And the first, at first it worked. And then, so we came back the next year and I was doing it and all I heard on the other back end was whack. I mean, nothing. Bang. He's knocking it down. And I'm thinking to myself, man, you spent all summer with somebody hand in your face, huh? That's what I was thinking. Like he took that away from me, and that is the ultimate sign of respect when you can do something like that. So I put Code there. AI, absolute monster, man. I mean, pound for pound, AI is real deal. I'm telling you guys, like tough as hell, coming at you, snaky, get in the gaps. Go to the free throw line, bounce up after you foul him, just nonstop. I put Seattle and the Bucks Ray Allen in that category as well because he was. I mean, he had the movement. He was also handling the basketball still then. So that was real tough. One that you might not think, though, that I was young, but I had a problem with him was Kevin Johnson from the Suns. KJ, he had that little, like, stutter, and then it would back you up, and then he's shooting a jumper, and then, he dunked on. Hakeem, that's a whole nother thing, man. Hakeem, I'm a big fan of Hakeem. I don't think a lot of people put enough respect on Hakeem's name. But yeah, those was just a few. I'm sure I could come up with a lot more, you guys. But I would say out of all of them, Kobe, AI, and Mike they right at the top of the list, and Mike kind of hovers above everybody else.
Definitely feel that. You said Hakeem is underrated. Do you have an all-time starting five, and is he on it?
You know, starting five, that's a good one, man. I don't think I got to that. I would say, for me, like if I'm picking for myself, I probably would put Hakeem on there, man, because oddly enough, offensively, you know, he was dominant offensively, you guys. You remember when David Robinson won the MVP, and then he went out there and just dismantled the man like it wasn't even nice, right? But then he was known as a defender, so as a two-way player, like Hakeem is right up there. But I would probably. It's hard to not put the greatest winner on the team because he's going to lead you to wins, and that would be Bill Russell.
Okay.
The greatest and most dominant shot would be Kareem. I mean, give it to Cap in the post, and it's an absolute wrap. The greatest leader would be Magic. The greatest all-around player, I think, would be LeBron James. And then for me, the man is Michael Jordan. Like, competitor, just the science of the game of basketball. If we look at Kobe and look at the scientist that Kobe was, that's who the scientist went to. He would fight to figure out the recipe. So that should tell you everything you need to know.
So do you think Bron can be better than Jordan, or is he already better than Jordan? Or how do you feel about that?
Who's that?
LeBron James.
No, I got Mike as number one, but that's gonna be a conversation for a long time.
For the next 100 years, 200 years.
No doubt. But think about this, you guys. LeBron James, and I played against him in his very first game in the NBA, and he had a soft 25, 7, and 8 or something. I'm just like, yeah.
I forgot he played the Kings.
Yeah, in his first game. So the crazy thing that makes LeBron so great, you guys, is he's not a scorer as we know scorers, but he's going to be the all-time leading scorer in the history of the game of basketball.
That makes sense. That's crazy.
He's the fact that he's in the conversation like that just speaks to the man's greatness. I can't even. I don't understand how people be hating on him. I don't get it, man. I don't. He does things right as far as on the court. He does them off the court. He takes care of his body. He as a black man, is demonstrating how to lead, respect your family. He's got a I don't get it. It's a thing of our society. Like he'll be top 5, and if not number 1, he's gonna be top 5 in every single category. Yep. Come on, man.
I think he's gonna be.
Stop all the hate.
Have 40,000 career points, 10,000 career assists, 10,000 career rebounds. I think the thing with LeBron is that like people are. I personally think overall I'm taking LeBron, but as the greatest, I know he doesn't have what Michael has, but I feel like he's getting there, and people are like, Michael Jordan's Michael Jordan. There can't be someone that's getting close. If LeBron ends up with another ring, or somehow miraculously they get a three-peat, that discussion is going to be there for the rest of time.
Even if he doesn't get another ring, the discussion is going to happen, man.
For sure.
Because he is like my man's for real. And then see what we don't take into consideration most times when we have this conversation is we don't take into consideration longevity. And longevity is a thing because it's a mindset, it's a sacrifice, it's a willingness to give of yourself in a way that not everybody is willing to do. I mean, back in the 60s and stuff, they were smoking cigarettes in the locker room. You know, it's a different day now. So and LeBron James he's come along at a time where he's able to take advantage of social media, but he's also able to take advantage of medicine and all the different things. And to his credit, damn, get that man credit because he's taking advantage of it and he's doing it right and leading the way in so many different areas, man. Shout out.
For him to be labeled as the chosen one at age 16 and for him to, live up to it, it's something. Like, he's that great.
How about surpass it? There's no way we would have thought that he was going to do what he did. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. Like, I remember watching him in that game with Dickie V, and I wanted to see. I tuned in, and I think we had an off day or something. And I'm like, let me see. And then to play against him in the first game, and I'm like, went to back him down, and he didn't move, and I was like, we need a birth certificate check, yo.
Ain't no way you 18, 19, no.
Man, he didn't move, y'all. And I was like, man, and then just to watch his poise and the way he went about it. And I can remember people criticizing him because at Cleveland, they, at the beginning he would bring it in. He was like 1, 2, 3 championship. And people are like, man, what's this guy talking about? But you know what? That's how you manifest, you guys. That's how you bring things into existence. Absolutely.
That's why you're here. Next question. Did you always want to be a broadcaster?
Nah, man. I mean, I couldn't picture myself as a broadcaster. When I went to Pepperdine initially, I signed up for communications. So when I went in there and I saw the cameras and different, I was like, nah, that's not my thing. And then lo and behold, to bring it back around, there was he's one of the greatest, Marv Dunphy. He's one of the greatest volleyball coaches ever. He was at Pepperdine. He was also the U.S. Olympic volleyball coach. And Marv, he used to, as a kid coming from the inner city, there was a whole, I held back a lot. And Marv kind of saw that. So he would see a lot of things in me, and he would be like, hey, I think it was my sophomore year, and he's like, hey, I want you to come speak to my class. And I'm like, what? Hell no. What do you mean? You want me to get up and talk in front of people? But he obviously saw that I had something to give, man. And I ended up doing it because he was like, look, man, you got to face your fears. That's part of life. That's part of growing up. That's part of who you're going to become. And it helped me a lot. My wife helped me when we first stopped. I stopped playing basketball in the NBA. We did it was blog talk radio. It was just getting started, and we did a radio show on there. And I didn't want to do it. She talked me into it. So we had a little sports segment. We would talk relationships and life and fashion and all these different things. And then me and my boy, we would kick off and talk all the sports stuff. And then, my partner, some days he wouldn't show up. And so I had to roll the whole thing by myself. So I learned how to, kind of talk about it. But I really, you guys, I didn't. But I love every aspect of the game of basketball. It's changed my life, the trajectory of my family, and so many different things that I truly, truly enjoy it. So I'm learning. I ask a lot of questions. I'm trying to get better. It's just I have fun, and luckily my bosses, they allow me to have a style that's unconventional. They want to hear conversation. So when I talk about the game, I would kind of talk about it like we're talking. We just some dudes sitting on the couch kicking it, and there's still professionalism that goes about it. But I love UB Brown and how he educates. But at the same time, I like to have fun when I do it. I think like a Terry Bradshaw, for instance, who's kind of kooky and just he'll say some stuff. And then you got people who've come before us like Stuart Scott and even Mark Jones, who I'm working with, different people that give a different perspective. And that's just kind of how I try to roll, and hopefully that the people like it.
Nice. Just wanted to piggyback on that before we start to wrap it up. How has it been working with Mark Jones this year? I think you guys are the best commentators in the league right now, honestly.
I appreciate that first and foremost, man. Mark has been spectacular. I've known Mark actually for a really long time, for over 25 years. I think that's about right. Maybe it's even been a little longer than that. My first year in New York, I lived in Stamford, Connecticut, and that's where he lived doing ESPN, and my agent was friends with him, so I'd go over to his house and play horse and eat and just kick it. And so I got to know Mark, and then we always kept in contact from then. So by him coming in, I've watched his work obviously, and then he's just been he's really been good for me because he's pushed me to things that I've never tried on air, and stuff that I hadn't done previous years, between him and the producer to step out, and it's been really good, man. He's been great. Kyle Draper, who was in Boston, he's there with us as well, and Kyle Drapes is awesome. But Mark is, as a mentor and as a coworker, he's been just fantastic for me, man.
Yeah, he actually has residence down here. His son used to play basketball with one of our homies at Cypress down here. So, big shout out to Mark Jones.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Any last questions before we start to wrap it up, guys?
I got one. So you've played over, I would say it's been over 800 career games. I know it's probably going to be hard to think of one precise game, but like your favorite moment, basically being in the NBA, like that one moment that you were like, damn, like I'm in the NBA. This is amazing. Like I did it.
That's a good one, man. It was so many, man. I mean, just that whole Lakers series at Arco Arena, just the environment, this is what you do and this is what you play for. This is what you used to go to the park in Seattle as a kid with nobody around and act like you Magic Johnson, Gus Williams, and Dennis Johnson. Here you are. My first game with the Kings in preseason, and Jason Williams, White Chocolate, coming down the court. After you get traded and you go through the NBA, you can, the love of the game can sometimes get mixed up in the business of the game. And in a lot of ways, Jay Will gave me that back because he was coming down and he's like passing it to me, and at the same time, he like, shoot it, shorty. And I was like, oh, we at the park, huh? Okay. And it was a vibe. It was a thing, man. And those were just some of the times, but just the ability to run on that court, you never lose that, and you never should lose perspective of that, because it's a kid's game, it's a business, but at the same time, when you don't do it, you miss it. You miss it for sure.
Definitely. Before we start to wrap it up, we want to talk about your training supplies. Did you want to talk about that?
Oh, yeah. You can go to rebartraining.com, and my trainer, Tim Manson, he is what I would consider the best trainer in the world. I'm not talking about basketball training. I'm talking about the body. And he's in Washington, and between him and myself and our other partners, we created a piece of workout equipment, and it's called the Rebar. And the first one is called the Rebar Alpha Pro, and now we just created the Rebar Omega Pro. And it trains movement dysfunction, stability, flexibility, all the little muscles along your spine. It's something that, whether you're a workout warrior or you're an elite athlete, I encourage you to go check it out, because for me at 50, it helps me to be able to still do pretty much whatever I want. And for Tim, he was a elite track athlete, and he ended up having a hip replacement. And this is the thing that got him. If you do go on our website, rebartraining.com, you'll see Tim, you'll see videos of Tim moving and different stuff, and you would never believe that, he runs fields in Washington with 21-year-olds that are just in college, and he beats the hell out of them. And he's got one hip that's right and one hip that's got replaced. So, the Rebar Alpha Pro and the Rebar Omega Pro, check it out. It's very simplistic in its approach, but it is a monster. It'll beat the hell out of you, man.
That's rebartraining.com. That's R3 bar.
Yeah.
It's on Twitter as well. Last question before we let you go. You were with Kyle Draper last night, or is Mark Jones back tonight? Just curious.
No, Mark, he's doing the game right now. I'm watching it as I'm talking to you guys. He got Boston and New Orleans. So I got Drapes again tonight, and hopefully we can surprise these Bucks, because they've been bucking us. That's for sure.
Good luck tonight. And thank you for taking your time.
I appreciate you guys. Absolutely, man. Y'all be well.
That was amazing.
That was
I'm
incredible.
a Kings fan. I'm a Kings fan.
I've always been a closet Kings fan.
No, you
Now I'm
are.
out the closet.
You guys have fun?
It was a great time.
Yeah.
It was a great time. Imano, you had fun? It was a great time. As always, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, MBF_Clo, MBF_Trill, at cheese_0,
Appreciate you.
at only Imano, MBF_podcast on YouTube. Hit the like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Nothing but facts all together. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor. He's sweating. He's about to cry. He's about to die.
I was
About to
nervous.
die.
Next tape.